Hey everyone, Chef Jean-Paul Bourgeois here in the Louisiana Cooking Test Kitchens, your authority for all things great out of the Bayou State. Today, I'm making boudin, but not your traditional boudin. Oh, no. Crawfish Boudin. It's one of my favorite recipes and I'm ready to cook. Let's go for it. Let's go over some of these ingredients. Now these are Louisiana crawfish tails. They have been frozen. They come in peeled and cooked in a 1 pound pack. Those have been thawed out and just dumped right into the bowl. We have the Trinity, which is onion, celery, bell pepper. We have a little minced garlic. We have rice to fold into that boudin later on. Green onions, cayenne, cooking oil, bay leaf, salt, some slappy mama, and of course, butter. And that's what we're gonna start with right here. We're going about a stick of butter right into the pot right there. We wanna get that on high and starting to melt. Now this is a pretty simple recipe. Most boudin is stuffed into a hog casing. We're not gonna be doing that today. I'm just gonna show you what's actually stuffed inside that casing. Then, if you have a sausage stuffer, go ahead and make that at home. If you wanna make them into boudin balls, you can cool this recipe down, form into balls, batter and fry them. And if you haven't made boudin balls before, you can check out previous videos where we go ahead and actually make boudin balls, and you can get a lot of recipe technique from that when it comes to making boudin balls. You can stuff these inside of peppers. You can eat this on side of fish. You can stuff it inside of a pork loin or even a chicken. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do with this recipe once you actually make the boudin. So what you're seeing is the most important part. After that, the world's your oyster. Stuff it inside of something, eat it as is, put it in a casing. You'll have a recipe to go back to over and over again once you get this part down. My butter is just about, well, getting melted there. I'm gonna start with my onion, celery, bell pepper, and garlic first. And I wanna get that really sauteing nice and good in this butter before I go ahead and add my crawfish tails and the rest of my ingredients. And depending on how you like your boudin, some like it more dry with more rice. Some like it a little bit more moist or wet with maybe some chicken stock or crawfish stock or just less rice sometimes. I like to have a little chicken stock. I like it on the more like moisture side because a lot of times I am gonna be stuffing this inside of peppers or stuffing this inside of a chicken, and I want that residual moisture to give moisture back to whatever I'm stuffing it in. But for right now, let's just focus on this Trinity. Onion, celery, and bell pepper. Typically, the rule of thumb with the Trinity is you want the amounts of bell pepper and celery to add up to the amount of onion you have right here. So I'm gonna go right in. I see that butter starting to brown. I'm gonna go right into that butter with the onion, bell pepper, celery, garlic, bay leaf, and a little cayenne pepper as well. Right there, I'm gonna make sure I'm leaving it on high. I am ripping and gripping that knob right there and making sure it is on hot, and I want these vegetables to sweat down and melt down into this butter till they become nice and soft and translucent here. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt right here to kind of accelerate that moisture being leached from those vegetables, and so I can get more of a sweat, more of a softening from those vegetables when they cook in this butter. All right, our Trinity has been cooking down in butter for a good 15 minutes. It's definitely softened up. It's almost becoming like a mash or a paste within there, and that's kind of what we want. We want there to be soft vegetables. We don't want to bite through that boudin and feel any crunch or resistance from those vegetables. From right here, I'm gonna take my crawfish tails as is. You can see that's the purge from the liquid. That's what we actually want that in here for this, so we wanna just get them right into that hot butter. There we go. Into there, I'm gonna throw my green onions in at this point as well. I'm gonna season it with some Slappy Mama white pepper blend. This happens to be one of my favorite blends that Slappy Mama makes. I use it religiously, especially for seafood and crustaceans and things like that. I'm gonna add a little Slappy Mama pepper sauce here. I'm gonna stir this around. Now you see this chicken stock I have right here. I may use it, I may use some of it, may use a little, all of it. I don't know yet. I wanna see how kind of wet this mixture is. I'm gonna stir that around. I want these crawfish tails to kind of fry, get fry in that fat a little bit. It won't really fry in the fat, but I want to get it sizzling and jumping a little bit more here. So I'm just gonna let that go before I add any stock or taste it, and trying to get all those flavors activated and cooking with that crawfish. Okay, my crawfish have been cooking in this pot for about 5 minutes. It does have a good amount of liquid in it, so I'm not gonna add any chicken stock yet, but I will taste this crawfish in broth down here and see what the seasoning's like. It needs some more slap. Let's get that in there. Let's also get some black pepper in there. Just a pinch of salt. Let's give it another taste. Starting to smell real good. I'm definitely getting some back of the heat from that cayenne, back of the mouth heat from that cayenne, so that's cool. Remember, we still got rice to put in there, so that rice is going to really, not going to say dilute, but disperse a lot of these flavors. That's where I want it for the rice. So right now, this is probably around 2 cups of cooked rice. You want to use cooked long grain rice for this. I'm going to add that right into the pot, like so. And I want to stir this up. And I want to see how much rice, I want to see how much moisture this rice actually soaks up for this boudin. And that's what's going to determine how much, if any, chicken stock or water or crawfish stock or whatever stock you have, I'm going to fold in. Burning my towel. All right. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to let it keep cooking though. I'm going to add a little bit of stock into it, I think, just so I can get that rice start to break up. I do want a little bit of breakdown in that rice so the starches come out of that rice and kind of fold themselves into this recipe. I'm going to add a little bit of stock just to wet it up a little bit to get that moisture moving around, get that rice broken up, and using my spoon to really agitate the rice as well is going to help release those starches and kind of give you that creaminess that you're looking for out of boudin. Typically in regular and traditional boudin, you would use the ratios or the mixture of starch from the rice and the creaminess of the chicken livers to achieve that desired texture or viscosity that you want to get out of boudin. But in this, you really have just the stock and the agitation of the starch to get what you're looking for. So right now I'm probably around 1/4 cup of stock, and that's looking pretty good. I won't add any more, I don't think. I just want to beat this up a little bit. Want to make sure that rice is broken down into here. And you can see that color. That's all coming from, mostly all coming from that crawfish. Let's give it a try. I need some more salt. And while that's cooking and finishing up, I'm gonna get some parsley ready because I do want to add some parsley at the end. So I'm just gonna pinch some leaves off. This is Italian flat leaf parsley. If you can't find flat leaf parsley, the curly parsley will work too. It just doesn't have as robust of a flavor as the flat leaf does. Usually used for more decoration and garnishing, where the flat leaf is usually used for flavor and herbaceousness. That looks pretty good right there. Let's check where this is at. This is pretty good here. I'm going to just slap that on low. And this isn't the best knife to do a parsley chop, but it's the one I'm using today. Into the pot. Let's give this a couple more turns. I mean, that's really looking good. You cool that down and you make that into a ball and batter it up and deep fry it, where you're gonna have some happy people at your dinner table. Don't matter if it looks good if it don't taste good. You know what it needs? It needs a little lemon. Can we get a little lemon? Should have known it, you know. There's not many times where I cook crawfish, shrimp, crabs, and there's not lemon involved somewhere in the recipe. Probably not a traditional ingredient for crawfish boudin, but you know, boudin in general, it's heavy, it's starchy, it's robust, and to me, it just needs a pop of acid to lift it up out of those kind of deep and heavy trenches and give it a little life. And I find that lemon, of course, when you're pairing it with seafood, is going to do that. If you had white wine vinegar, that would do the same thing. Any type of vinegar, actually. If you like a little more garlic, this is a good time to add some garlic powder or something like that, but I actually think this is going to be just fine. Oh yeah. That's where we need it to be. I'm just going to mix this up a little bit more, get it to where I want. I'm adding a little bit more salt. It needs it. That rice is soaking up all those flavors. And when you're adding rice, when you're making a dish like this, when you have rice as a major component, you really need to be mindful of your seasonings. You're likely going to need to adjust from the start to beginning so you can compensate for that rice. Yo, that's it. I'm not touching it again. Put it in a chicken, put it in a pepper, eat it with a spoon. It don't matter, it's delicious. My name's Chef Jean-Paul. I am out.